When you look at people that are depressed, or even people just not where they want to be, they have no compelling future.
Yes,
Anyone can deal with a difficult today if they have a compelling tomorrow.
Yes.
Understand, because I think you and I couldn't be more aligned. A compelling future is everything. Because without that, you can have an aim, by the way, but if it's not compelling, it's not going to do much. The idea of getting in a state of mind where you're in a heightened state of consciousness because your energy increases. Think about it. When your energy drops, usually negative thoughts grow with that pretty massively, right? Self-negative thoughts, thoughts about society. As you raise the energy level, it's like plugging into a computer. You have the greatest computer, but not enough electricity. But if there's full electricity, there's power there. And most of us have gotten adjusted to a level of energy, especially post-COVID, that we don't even realize because we're like fish in water. It has dropped massively. Your meanings change. Your focus and your meanings change when your energy shifts. And so it's so fundamental to bring that energy up, and most people have no reference for it in their body. And you look at Steph Curry, the greatest 33-point shooter in the world, and people look at him and he goes and he shoots the ball from like almost half court, and he's jumping on the side of his mouthpiece, and he doesn't even wait to go. He turns and smiles, and he knows, and then all of a sudden the crowd goes wild and it goes through. It's like, it looks like impossible. But where did that impossible come from? He built the myelin over and over and over again, so it's hardwired.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows exactly what to do. Now, how did he do that? This is the part that we all forget. I always tell people, when you see people who are amazing in public, they're being rewarded in public for what they've practiced massively in private.
Yes, yes.
He practices 500 shots a day, every day, 7 days a week, bar none. That's 3,500 shots a week. It's 168,000 shots a month. 2.52 million shots, not forget his college career, just in his professional career, so that he can make 3,300 three-point shots and be the greatest in history. That's less than 1/10% of the time was it compared to his practice. Hope and excitement are wonderful things, but you need competency as well. And in order to have that, the hope can get you started, give you the drive, the vision, the aim, but you've got to have the execution. Because motivation is, the reason I use it, it's like a warm bath. You should probably take a bath, but it doesn't last, right? You should still do it. It's not just the aim or objective, it's strong enough reasons. In other words, somebody say, I want to make $1 billion, but they don't do it. And they even vision and get excited about it, $1 million, whatever it is. I want to have 3 perfect children. I want to write a book, whatever. The secret is reasons come first, answers come second. Once I know what I want, I got to figure out why. Because purpose is stronger than object. So the object may inspire you, but what's going to keep you going is strong enough reasons when it's tough. What are the reasons? Okay, I want this money. For what? Well, I want to provide a home for my mom. Well, that's very different than I just want to have these pieces of paper with pictures of dead people on it, right? And people say, I want money. They don't want money. They want an emotion. They want an impact. They want security, or they want freedom, or they want to be able to contribute, or they want to do something they think money will give them more choices on, right? They don't want the money. So I'm always trying to dig underneath to figure out what is the
that's the substructure.
Exactly. That's the surface desire. And many people focus on the surface desire, not knowing enough reasons to follow through. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work. 91% of them, I don't know what the latest statistic is, people don't follow through after 3 weeks. By the time they're hearing us speak, if they had New Year's resolutions, they're gone, because they don't have the reasons to push through and they don't have the strategy. It's wonderful if you say, I want to see a sunset, but if your strategy is start running east as fast as you can, I don't give a damn how positive you are, it's not going to work. So it's a combination of that aim, those values, that drive you and I are talking about, that ignite, enough reasons for it, and then the strategies to execute, because you'll eventually find your way there, but the speed at which you do it is if, I believe in modeling. I believe success leaves clues. My original teacher, Jim Rohn, taught me that. He said, if someone is successful at anything, they've got a great relationship and it's 20 years down the line and they still do it. Or they lost weight and kept it off for 10 years. Or they went from nothing to not just making money, but sustaining financial security and freedom for their family. They're not lucky. They're doing something different than you are. So instead of you trial and error, which is the standard way in which we learn, you find the pathway to power by finding someone who's done it consistently and produced results. But it is more than just the aim. That'll start you. You've got to have the purpose or the reasons or your purpose. If it's somebody else's purpose or reasons, it won't last.
It's not going to work.
Right? And then you need the strategies too, because that'll give you the drive, and you will figure it out if you can discipline your disappointment. If you can push yourself beyond what most people give up on, you're going to get there eventually. You're going to keep flexing. But you'll get there 10 times faster if you can say, wow, there's already a pathway that's been proven. Why would I reinvent the wheel? I'll still bring myself to it, my own uniqueness to it. Because most of us have so many conflicts. It's A lack of clarity usually.
Yes,
right? There's not a clear aim. There's not enough reasons.
Yeah.
Poor strategy, but ultimately what really stops people, and what I do with people in events, is I find the inner conflict.
Yes, definitely.
The inner conflict is what's keeping them from executing.
Yeah, it means they're actually living out multiple stories simultaneously, exactly right. And they don't have the same aim.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
And that's okay too. It doesn't have to all be the same story, but there has to be some unifying element to what matters most to you for you to live an extraordinary quality of life. Again, life on your terms. You can call it God or you can call it life, whatever I prefer God, but still, life supports whatever supports more life. So as an individual with my own goals, take your bees, the bumblebee could be selfishly going after just the nectar for itself, if you want to call that selfish, but then what attaches to its legs is pollen, and that's why we have more flowers, right? So there's a certain amount of benefit by anyone's individual desire of the Father, right? You know, it's like with that desire is the ability to fulfill it if you can persist and discover. But I found that, I believe, that when your desire is to serve something more than yourself, first of all, you get out of yourself, so there's no more the internal anxieties.
That's for sure.
You're not there.
Well, those are, you know, that concern, thoughts of yourself and neurotic suffering are so closely allied statistically that you can't separate them. So if you are thinking about your narrow self, that's the definition of misery.
100%. Right? Well, if your goal is to support your family, that's a different level of insight than just you. You're going to get more insights. If you're looking to serve a community, if you're looking to see humanity, I'm not talking about virtual signaling. I'm talking about in your soul, you know what is real, what your deepest purpose and desires, what you're called for. Well, when that happens, there's an aliveness and a strength that seems to overcome. It overcomes exhaustion. It overcomes everything.
Well, that's what Frankel said.
Because it comes through you. It's a calling. Yes. So much of what we think we're doing ourselves is being shifted by the outside world. So I say prime yourself. I start every morning by priming myself, including the days I'm on stage. What is priming? I wasn't much of a meditator. My meditation is serving people. God kind of comes through, or somebody stands up and they're going to commit suicide. It all just happens. Or I'm running on the beach. I'm in nature. That's my version of meditation, more active movement. But I realized there was value in the stillness at that stage and the peace. And so I developed this little 10-minute process. And why 10 minutes? Because if I told you 20, you'd tell me you don't have the time, right? If you don't have 10 minutes for your life, you don't have a life, right? You agree with me? So I said, I want to do 3 things in that 10 minutes. What is the emotion that keeps most people, what messes up their relationships, messes up their career? 2 of them, in my belief. Fear and anger, those 2. What's the antidote to those? Gratitude. As simple as that is. But not namby-pamby gratitude, I'm grateful. Like, if I ask you what it was like driving on a roller coaster and you remember the roller coaster over there and tell me about it, there's no change in your biochemistry. But if I get you to be in the front seat going over the edge, that's fully associated. I'm gonna get the biochemical changes. So what I do is I do these changes in my body. It takes less than a minute of this kind of breath of fire, if you know yogic breath of fire, explosive breath, which changes the biochemistry. And now I take 10 minutes and I do 3 things. 1, I take 3 minutes, a minute each, and I think of something in my life that I'm incredibly grateful for, but I'm in the front seat, feeling it, being there, experiencing it. So it has a biochemical change, not an intellectual change, right? And I usually pick one of those 3. It's got to be something really simple. It could be the wind on my face from the ocean here. It could be the smile of my daughter, the morning. And so I don't make it just like everything's going to the moon, right? And so I train myself to feel that.
When do you do that in the day?
First thing in the morning, right?
What do you mean first thing? Do you mean as soon as you wake up?
I go outside, I do the water first, I do the hot and cold. So I do, people, now it's very popular, but I've been doing for 17 years I've been doing jumping in the cold and doing it. So I have cold plunges everywhere in my home in Sun Valley.
So that wakes you up.
Snow. It not only wakes you up, it's also a mental discipline. Your entire lymph system, blood flows. But there's never a day that I can remember where I was like, I can't wait to jump in this freezing water, 52 degrees.
Right.
Or if I'm going to the river in Sun Valley, walking through the snow and it's like 42 degrees there, right? But when I get to it, there is never hesitancy because I am training my brain besides my body that, like people say, oh, I don't feel like it. I don't give a shit if you don't feel like it.
Of course you don't feel like it. It's cold water.
No, but I don't negotiate with myself. It's like the minute I get there, I don't go, okay, let me get ready or let me get one more comfortable moment. It's like when I say go, we go. And I've done that for years. So now when I say go, we go with anything else, there's no discussion. This is what we're going to do right now. This is a unified force. Right. So I get that. And then I sit and I do this breathing, and I do 3 minutes, fully connected to what I'm grateful for, a huge biochemical change. 3 minutes on what would be a prayer or a blessing, where I ask for guidance to cleanse my system of anything that's no longer needed, to strengthen my greatest strengths, my love, my passion, my commitment. And then I see sending that energy out like in a circle to those closest to my family, my closest friends, my associates, my clients, my customers, anybody I want to meet.
Right, so that sets your attitude to them.
And also, I'm sure you've seen, Dalai Lama, they did those studies where people focus on compassion for people they don't even know, and there's a change in the brain and how it functions, and it affects you. So I do that for myself.